Next up at UFC Baku, we have Myktybek Orolbai taking on Tofiq Musayev. Myktybek Orolbai, 13-2 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off his first ever UFC loss. He's taking on Tofiq Musayev, 22-5 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5, and this is his official UFC debut. Myktybek Orolbai, a fun, come-forward grappler who looks like a caveman. He's very entertaining, and he will entertain the striking before he gets to the wrestling. But then once he hits the wrestling, he's fully committed. He's all in. His wrestling and grappling pressure are nonstop. He's got plenty of cardio, plenty of power, a good chin. He can set a really nice pace. The striking has been steady. It's been improving. And we just got to see what a dog he is in his last fight. He came off that loss to Rebecki. He was dropped. He was taken down, but he never stopped coming forward. He's taking on Tofiq Musayev. Tofiq is fighting for the first time in 2 years, and he's making his UFC debut. But if we just look at the tape and we break it down, this guy is exciting as hell. He's a welcome addition to this weight class. And while he does have that no mustache, full beard look, he's not a nonstop wrestler. He's not a typical wrestler, at least. He will throw wild punches with 100% intent and look for finishes on the feet. He obviously can wrestle, and he's a good wrestler, but the striking is really where he wants to hang out. And this is a weird situation because Tofiq has not fought in 2 full years, okay? 2 years he hasn't fought. He is also a local, an Azerbaijani. And what we might get here, so he is very good. He's got a good record at 22-5. He's the former risen world champion. But what we might get here is a guy who found out the UFC is coming to his hometown, has a good enough record to justify a UFC signing, but wasn't really intending to fight, not training. Like he's kind of done with that part of his career, but he hopped on board because when would I ever get the opportunity to fight in the UFC at home again? And that's sort of the risk here. That's what concerns me here is that Tofiq might be just sort of hopping on board to hop on board. I'm going to go with Myktybek Orolbai. He's the pick. I don't think, his chin is gone, even though we watched him get dropped. We watched him be chinny. I don't think the chin is gone. And I think that was just Rebecki hitting like an absolute freight train. So I'm going to go with the caveman to get the caveman takedowns, push forward, just remind us how tough he can be. And we saw that toughness in his last fight, even though he lost. What do you think is going on here, Joey T?
I'm going to say this now. After this fight, he's not going to be under a minus 200. So take this to where I believe you're going to get it. I think there's a chance Orolbai is probably one of my favorite plays. 8,500, good middle price tag. I do think the winner of this fight is going to score well for Optimal for multiple reasons. One, if it goes 3 rounds, we know Orolbai is going to chain takedowns. He allows people to get up. Then he takes them right back down. 5 points each for each takedown. He controls a lot of fighters. And Tofiq, most of his losses are inside the distance. 4 out of his last 5 losses are all by finish, and Orolbai has 11 finishes out of 13. So maybe we even get some takedowns control and eventually get a finish late, maybe round 2, round 3. He's going to score in the high 100. So 8,500 could be one of the best plays on the slate.
Yeah, it could be. I had my reservations early. So every time I do breakdowns, I do my breakdown Sunday morning. So very, very early. And then as the week goes on, sometimes I get more or less confident in a fighter. Myktybek Orolbai is a guy that I've gotten more confident in as the week has gone on. I keep looking at it, and I realize he lost his last fight, and I lost some money on that fight. Yep. I thought he was going to beat Rebecki, but he lost a spectacular. Like, that dude fought his ass off, so I know he's not a coward. I know he can deal with adversity despite having a long win streak at that point in time. So I actually love it. I think he'll come in here ready to go. He'll probably actually wrestle more early because he was dropped in that fight. I just hope, sometimes you get these fighters that have never been dropped and then they do, and now all of a sudden they're chinny. I just hope that's not the case here, but let's assume it isn't. And Myktybek Orolbai is going to be the pick. And if we're looking at DraftKings Fantasy, I don't disagree. $8,500, he might absolutely be worth that money. I did a couple of different plays here. In the prize picks and the underdog, I did over 2.5 takedowns, which means to get 3 takedowns. I absolutely think he'll get 3 takedowns. He has 3 fights in the UFC. The first one, he had 7 takedowns. The second one, he had 6. He had 2 takedowns in his last fight, and that was against a very, very, very good wrestler who was short and stocky. The other actual bet I have here is the over 1.5 rounds. I have Myktybek straight up in a parlay, and I do like the over 1.5 rounds because Tofiq is tough, and yes, he has been finished, which is why I love that it's a 1.5 round line and not a 2.5. I think Myktybek will get some takedowns early, hang out, they'll find their way. If we get a finish, I don't think it's going to be early. So those are the bets I have going on. If you want to check out Jacob's bets, Bet Sam's bets, if you want to check out every pick, every bet, every tool that we have on the website, go to WeWantPicks.com. It's $10. Just click Become a Member. Right there on the top, you unlock all of it instantly for an entire month, all the way out through UFC 318. We got a couple of comments here, a lot of them, about how Myktybek looks. This is seeming like a buy low spot on Orolbai. I completely agree with you. We have my money's on the Homo sapien. All right. Myktybek 10,000 BC Orolbai. And Orolbai looks like if you lit a lighter in front of him, he would freak the fuck out. That's actually, that one's very, very funny.